Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Watching the Boxes Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Mike Catron, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Tyler Watts. What's up, Tyler?
Oh, Michael, how are you today? It has been
I-
a long day for me.
I'm feeling pretty good. I did not get a lot of sleep over the weekend, and I think I slept maybe 12 hours last night, so I'm feeling pretty good.
You got
I'm,
the extra hour though.
I'm well rested. That's where I got that extra hour. I mean, that's how I reached 12 hours. I'm a master at sleeping.
You have conquered it.
Yeah, I'm great. I can sleep anywhere, anytime, for any length of time. I'm a great sleeper. It's one of my best skills.
I would argue your only good one.
I don't know. I think I have another skill too, Tyler, because if you recall, you were talking a lot of shit in the middle of the last week about our matchup on our Fancy Basketball Listener League because it was the epic matchup between Mike and Tyler, week 3. Tyler, did you see, like, were you able to, because I was sleeping a lot, were you able to see who maybe pulled it out there? Like, I think you were ahead by a point or something last time I remember, but did you see who happened to pull it out last week?
Hey, fair play to you, Mike. You dominated me. John Wall, the last day, did not help a brother out with his shoulder injury, but I wasted a pickup for the week on Rajon Rondo, which also hurt me. But hey, it's a long game. I'm trying to win the whole thing, not win this week. So you got the win on me. I'll give it to you. I'll see you in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm trying to win the whole thing too, and I'm doing a pretty damn good job of it being in first place still. Two very key pickups
You're
after.
tied though now. My
Yeah,
week put moved you into a tie, so I mean I must have done something right.
hey, I won 6-3. I'll take a 6-3 win any week. That is fine with me.
I'll give a
After,
shout out to the listeners though. Everybody's pretty tightly packed in this bad boy.
yeah,
We only
I
really got two guys all the way in the basement.
I completely agree. It's so far been a very, I think, competitive league. Even the guys in last place, they have 19 losses. That's, you know, two bad weeks really, not even 3 bad weeks. Like those are that isn't great, but it's not like they're getting smoked 8-1 every week.
I'm with you there. I mean it's been fun.
So listeners who are in our league, I'm up. I'm playing Trust the Prospects this week, and it looks like you're playing Helladonna. What is this word? Who is this guy? He's in fourth place.
Heladonica, I don't know, but
Helladoniquai.
I want this guy to
Um,
tweet me some trash talk because I feel like he's a mad trash talker with that name.
his name is according to his Yahoo profile. His name is Jerry. And if anybody watches Rick and Morty, there's a lot of Jerrys out there, and this might be one of them.
I feel like he should tweet me some trash talk. I'm still going with it. Tweet me some trash talk, bro. Bring
That
it.
was me talking trash about Jerry. I'm not even playing him this week.
Poor Jerry. Trust the prospects taking you out, Mike. I'm calling it. Upset.
He's up 7-2 already, so it looks like I'm going to have to maneuver my way like I did last time when you were up by a point. Some very key pickups with, believe it or not, Mario Chalmers and Jaron Grant put me over in the assist category. So
It,
respect to those two.
isn't that funny how even in like a standard league, some of the let's say not great players can push you over the line.
Yeah, it's sure you want to pick up a pretty decent player off your waiver to stream, right? But if they're not going to provide you with the stats that you actually need to win, then you're really picking up dead weight. Like if you pick up someone who's going to smoke their way through rebounds and you're already winning rebounds by 200, there's no reason to pick that guy up, even if he is the better than Mario Chalmers.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, you gotta know your personnel out there, and you got to plan for your week. So it's another week. We're entering week 4, and there's a little bit of news floating around out there. In the NBA, it's been another good week of NBA play. LeBron James is putting the Cavaliers on his back, even though he's always putting the Cavaliers on his back. This time he's got to carry a lot of dead weight, and he's been balling out of his mind. So that's been pretty entertaining for people who picked LeBron James, especially if you picked him over Kawhi Leonard.
They lost to the Hawks, though, Mike. To the Hawks.
That is brutal. I don't
Yeah.
think the Bulls lost to the Hawks.
They just have no defense. I mean, it's just. I mean, can LeBron play a guard all 5 men? That's the question, right? Like someone's got to step up and play some defense on that team. And I really don't see them making it super far in the playoffs unless they make some sort of trade and get a defender. They need someone who can guard somebody.
Yeah, there's definitely a need for a trade. The thing is like I don't know what are they going to trade? They've already traded away most of their major assets. They've traded away a lot of their draft picks to keep LeBron happy. I know they got this pick from Boston, but the whole point of that pick is to, safeguard LeBron leaving, which who's going to blame him for leaving if they get knocked out of the by Giannis and the Bucks in the second round?
Yeah, and I mean it'll be interesting to see what they decide is worth parting with. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes they make a trade that you're kind of like scratching your head, like, how did they get Kyle Korver for that terrible second round pick who's going to be like the last pick in the draft, or, fill in the blank.
Well, speaking of trade rumors, one of the man, I don't even have anything good to insult this guy with. Um, the third pick in the 2015 NBA draft, Jahlil Okafor, just right in the pine in Philly, and he wants out. And I read a article before the season started, and I think the headline was, "The Bulls are going to trade for Jahlil Okafor, aren't they?" That was literally the headline. I was like, no, we're not that stupid. That actually might be a possibility. Jahlil Okafor going to the Bulls. I'm not sure what his playing time would be there, but let's just say hypothetically, no matter what team he goes to, he's going to be a starter and he's going to play 30 minutes. Are you interested in Jahlil Okafor in Standard League Fantasy?
Well, here's what's crazy about it, right? Since the Sixers declined that option, Mike, so we discussed this one other time about the declining the options thing. So any team that trades for him now, the most they can pay him is $6.2 million next year
Ooh,
in order to
interesting.
keep him.
Financial
Okay.
champs. The Bulls love that.
So, and he basically has the right to be a restricted free agent or not restricted, I'm an unrestricted free agent. So I don't see any reason really to trade for Jahlil Okafor unless you can somehow lock him up to a long-term contract. Obviously, next year would have to be 6.2 million, and then, I mean, you probably have to pay him more after that. I've seen this guy play a lot, right? In that very first rookie year with Philly. I mean, he's going to shoot a good percentage and a not great free throw percentage, but not terrible. But I mean, he's going to score and maybe get you a block a game if he plays 30 minutes and 7 rebounds and no steals and a pretty high turnovers for a big man. It's like, I mean, is he worth it if he's playing 30 minutes? Yeah, probably on a team that needs points and some rebounds and a block a game, but I wouldn't be chomping at the bit to get him, especially now, right? He's played 1 game so far this year. That's it. He's only played in 1 game.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. You would hope that he's been actually working on his game, even though he is not playing. But like, not playing doesn't help you become a better player. Like the people who get better are the people who are, you know, out on the court playing against actual NBA talent. And Jahlil Okafor, like you said, he scores. He doesn't do too much else. That rookie year, he scored a bunch, got good rebounds. He doesn't shoot threes. I don't think that's part of his game at all right now. The block a game, right? Shooting 50%. He's not a
All
good
of
free throw
his
shooter. He doesn't get steals. He doesn't get assists. You're right on track with the fact that, like, why would that be any different?
all of
this
his
year.
shots in the games that I've played are like floaters, or he just posts up, backs the dude down, gets to the rim. And he's crafty in there. He's crafty in the paint. But I can name probably on one hand, and I've seen most of the Sixers game in his tenure there, can probably name on one hand the jumpers I can recall him hitting.
Well, he's got Melo syndrome. You give him the ball, and the ball stops, and people stop playing, and they stop, and they're not interested in the offense. I think even though the NBA has completely passed Jahlil Okafor by, they like he's just not a big man of the future. He can't play defense. He's not super athletic, but he can score. He still has an ability to score, and he has a really good ability to score down low. I see him still having a decent NBA career because he's so young and still has the ability to work on his game, right?
Could
But
he be
the
the
best he's going to
big?
be is like a seventh man who comes in against second teams and just scores.
That's what I was gonna say. Could he be a throwback Enos Cantor to like the last few years, or like a big man version of Jamal Crawford or Lou Williams, where it's just like you come in and just attack like crazy and don't play any defense? I mean, I
I
could
think that's
see
a
that.
I think that's a good comp. Is that there's not a lot of Jamal Crawford bigman, like you know what I mean, like who comes in and is a spark off the bench for instant offense. But Jahlil Okafor could do that if a coach is willing to say, "All right, second team, you're built around Jahlil Okafor. Uh, Jahlil, go out," and then Jahlil has to buy. He has to buy in. Go out there, and you're going to play 22 minutes a game, but we're running the ball directly through you, and we want you to score like 15, 16 points against each second team. And if you're going off, you're getting hot, we'll play you more. I mean, that would be the best strategy for him. And actually, that's the to me the best case scenario for him no matter where he goes, because I don't think he's going to start. I don't think there's a team in the league where he would start, not even the Bulls.
Well, just because they have Robin Lopez, but I mean, the Bulls are cheap. Would they trade away Robin Lopez to get him? I mean, I'm assuming Robin Lopez is making a lot more money than he is.
um I mean, yes, Robin Lopez is making more money, but it's not um, to a significant amount of money. Jahlil Okafor is at what 5 million, and like you said, there's like no incentive to go pick him up if you can't keep him. If you wanted to keep him, so why would you bring him on the team anyway? There's no big contracts in Philly that the Bulls could take on to like ease their cap situation. They're at the bottom of the league in salary cap as well. Um,
The
Brooke
two
Lopez here, or no, not Brooke, Robin Lopez. Sorry, he is 13 million.
the two
That's,
destinations are just like disappointing too, in the sense that if he goes to the Bulls, you think, at least I think, Hoiberg won't know how to use him and he'll be horrendous anyways. And if he goes to the Hawks, he's just taking away minutes from either Dwayne Dedman or John Collins, which is not a great situation you really want to see. So I'm not super excited for this trade.
we'll flip that up too. He takes minutes away from Robin Lopez, who is a decent into the bench big man in most standard leagues, and heaven forbid he negates the development and the playing time for Lowry Markkanen, who's having a very nice start to this season.
Oh, Bobby Portis is already doing that, Mike. Let's not kid ourselves.
Bobby Portis ain't doing nothing. You know who I'm a fan of, and this is more of a hashtag Bulls podcast coming to you very soon on the hashtag Basketball Podcast Network that we are a part of. You like that plug, Tyler? Pretty seamless. I'm gonna be talking about David Nwaba a lot. That's how bad the
Well,
Bulls are, but that's also how good
I
David
bet you're not
Nwaba
for the
is.
next 2 to 4 weeks, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I'm real sad about that. He looks good.
Yeah, no, and he's looked good in like short spurts with some other teams too. So I mean, I could see it right when in that roster with Justin Holiday trying to make him your go-to scorer. I mean, that's just never a good idea. So guys like Nawaba and those guys, they show out when there's no one else on the team.
Yeah, Justin Holiday needs to stop shooting. Someone needs to get in front of that guy and tell him to stop shooting. For sure. Let's stop talking about the Bulls. We don't need. You can check out more Bulls information on hashtag Bulls the podcast. Download it where podcasts are sold. But let's stay in Philly and talk about Joel Embiid. Not going to be playing in the game against the Jazz. What's that about? I thought he wasn't on minutes restrictions.
Yeah, so he's not playing against the Jazz on Tuesday. So I mean, that all depends on when you're listening to this, right? But on Tuesday, November 7th, they are keeping him out for something they're calling load management. And basically, Brett Brown said the doctor is making me hold him out. The doctor is forcing me to hold him out. So, I mean, conspiracy theories abound, right? I don't know why the doctor would make you hold a healthy person out of a game. So does that mean that the doctor knows something we don't, in the sense that this guy's really already kind of in some ways injured? I don't understand. The only thing I can think is, okay, they traveled across the country on a cross country flight. They haven't played, right? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, they played on Sunday, but
Well, he was supposed to be under a minutes restriction to start the year. That was pretty much blown away in game one, and he was visibly winded during that game. He still played a pretty low volume of minutes, but that has increased steadily throughout the year. They kind of basically thrown that minutes limit per game out the window. Maybe this is a way of having a minutes limit without having a minutes limit per game. They've said over the last X amount of days, he's played this many minutes, therefore we need to reduce the load on him because
but Mike,
we're
I
gonna have a
lied. They
minutes
didn't
limit.
play. They didn't play on Sunday. My memory failed me. They haven't played since Friday.
It doesn't matter. There's a lot of advanced metrics now, and a lot of teams have these um, legitimately have people who work with the medical professions
You are giving the
to
Sixers way too much credit.
no.
They
This is something that NBA teams, I would say, a decent amount of them do. Probably not all of them, and I'm like you're saying, Philly. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing this,
they're
but
one
there
of the
is.
three worst medical staffs in the NBA. I'm not gonna. Let's not sugarcoat it.
That's fair, and so this, maybe I am giving them too much credit, but there is legitimately a metric that shows players, A, their performance is reduced, and B, they're more susceptible to injuries after certain types of workloads over a certain period of time. I am not privy to any of that information, but I am well read enough in all the nerdy advanced metric stats and all the stuff that's going on in the NBA to know that that is something the best
Well,
teams
accumulation
pay
is a
attention
real
to.
thing, right? I mean, that's the case in everything, right? I mean, things get worse the more you accumulate it, up and up and up and up and up, and so that would make sense. But I mean, to hold him out this one game after not playing for days, like I don't really see why that makes a big difference.
Would you rather um, the Sixers say, you know what, medical staff, screw you. We're playing Joel Embiid, and then he doesn't meet that games limit. I think we bet on, what was that, 55, 52?
I was
I
saying
think you're just
50.
trying to win that bet. I think you're just trying to get Joel Embiid hurt.
No, and this, I mean, I'll be the first one to admit I love to watch Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid has been fantastic this year. Point shooting that last year was kind of above league average. That might not be a real thing. His 3 point shooting has looked bad this year, but I mean, I want to see him play more than anybody. But I don't understand how this is helping, and I also don't understand how like saying he can play 25 minutes and then playing him 28, like that's clearly not helping. Like if you're gonna make these minutes limits, like you got to enforce them. You can't just do whatever you want, Brett Brown. You got to actually do it. If that's what the medical staff's telling you is the best thing to do, you got to do it. And I mean, if he played 25 minutes every game, would that have kept him playing tomorrow? I mean, I don't know. I can't answer these questions.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I'd rather have Joel Embiid, like I've said, for like 65 games than him push it at the beginning of this season and not be available for the playoffs. It's gonna suck for people who own Joel Embiid, but chances are you're already getting a increased value off of Joel Embiid. I am not trying to move Joel Embiid because of this news. I'm not worried about his health simply because he's sitting out a game. I don't think this is a strange Kawhi Leonard situation where suddenly he's just going to be out for like 2 weeks and they're not going to mention why or how or when he'll be back. That's not going to happen. I'm not worried about Joel Embiid right here. I think it legitimately is a sit a game.
I would not be surprised if that does happen at some point throughout the season when they're just like, he's out for the next 3 games and you don't really know why.
I think it's possible. I just don't think that's what this is.
I don't think this is either, but they have a tendency to do that. Just like, oh, that was odd. It goes back to their crapness and the whole like trying to be shady about injuries. I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah, it is a little strange, but people are going to have to deal with that. And like I said, where you drafted Embiid, deal with it, all right?
So here's a question for you. Is Vegas cashing those Rookie of the Year tickets already?
I don't know. Who did you bet on?
Ben Simmons is winning this bad boy, is he not? I mean, that dude looks, all kinds of wet.
I think Laurie Markkinen has something to say about that.
Man, has anyone seen a Bulls game?
I've seen most of them. It's been my eyes have burned out of my sockets. I am actually blind.
Are you missing the 9.8 rebounds, the 8.2 assists, and the 18 points of Ben Simmons?
I'm not missing it. Is Ben Simmons a rookie? Last time I checked, he wasn't. I don't think he was drafted this year.
He's still a rookie, though. He didn't play.
So technically, since he didn't play, he is. You're right. He is considered a rookie. He had a whole year to practice in the NBA.
The ones I find funny are like Bogdanovich, who's like 25 years old and played professionally in Europe for literally like 8 seasons.
And or Teodosic. Teodosic is like 33 years old. Looks like he's smoking before the game.
Yeah, and it's like, this dude's literally played professionally for like 12 years. How can he be a rookie? How's that possible?
Yeah, that shouldn't be how that works. I think it's fair that Ben Simmons is a rookie, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year. That guy looks great. Now, he still can't shoot, but it doesn't matter. He's 6'10" and has, legitimate ball handling skills. He gets to the rim. He's like a less athletic Giannis, where he just he wills his way into the lane, and there he is. He's just long enough to get it in. I'm not worried about Ben Simmons fantasy-wise. I think this is who he is.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the part I want to say is he's been a lot better than even I expected, right? I mean, just he's been great. He gets the rim so easy. I actually figured it would be kind of a poor, like 43, 44 field goal percentage. He's shooting over 50. He's getting so close to the basket, it might hold. I mean, he might drop a little bit. I think the defenses are going to adjust to him a little bit, and he's going to hit a little bit of a rough patch, I think, at some point. But he's going to be great, and I think he's going to run away with the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, all those guys who are getting used to the league, they run into a nice stretch where they're struggling because teams, like you said, got used to him. Ben Simmons, you're not, holding on to him for his 3-pointers or anything like that. But the guy fills it up. He's at a steal and a half. That's great. Half a block a game, which adds up. I'd like to see more than a half a block a game, though. The guy's 6'10", get a little bit better at defense, and that's one of the things he could get better at. But 29-8. That's great. It's far exceeding everything, and I don't think I would sell high on Ben Simmons because worst case scenario for Embiid is that he gets injured and he's out, and that is the best case scenario for Ben Simmons, who has to take an additional workload.
Yeah, and it'll be super interesting to see what happens if that scenario comes about, just because who are the Sixers going to play and all that. But we'll get to that at a later date.
So, Tyler, we have to correct a hot take that we had last episode. But first, I want to talk about Draft.com. Have you been playing Draft.com? Because I've been winning quite a bit. I'm a little worried that it's I'm too good at Draft.com.
So
I'm worried for our listeners who might be challenging us.
I will say this. Mike keeps bragging to me that he's winning all this money, but every time I'm like, Mike, do you want to play? He won't play me. So I think it's a farce. or he just doesn't want to lose the
No,
bragging
no.
rights to me.
I don't want you to know my mobile phone number. That's all.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That way, like you can make a clean break from me partway through the season. All right, that's fair
Yeah,
enough.
I'm bringing on Tom Haverstraw, and he's really into fantasy. But that's could probably happen in February, I think.
Oh well, if you can get him, man, I'll quit today.
No,
But no,
I
it has been great, man. I've enjoyed my time at draft quite a bit. I've been playing quite a bit myself. I won't say anything crazy like you that you're winning 100% of the time or anything like that, but it's been fun. And you guys can take my money. I've been telling you. So
yeah, draft.com. I mean, if our listeners haven't heard yet, if you haven't heard, draft.com is a daily fantasy basketball application, and you can also play on their web browser. You can go to draft.com right now, and if you use the promo code BOXES, BOXEX, not only do you help our program, but you will be entered into a free draft just by using our promo code BOXES. And like I said, it's very easy to use. It's different than normal daily fantasy where people are looking for that, like $1,200 player and all this other stuff. No, you're doing a snake draft each day that you play, each game that you play, really. So you can draft, you do 3 or 4 drafts a day and draft differently. And each team is going to be different. So there's not going to be like 6 teams with almost the same roster. You're going to have a different roster than everybody else.
yeah,
And
it's
that's what
quick.
I like the most about it.
I like that, and I like the fact that man, it's fast, right? Like you don't need an hour, 5 hours to plan your daily lineup. You can kind of check things
No,
out, see who's playing. You're only gonna pick the studs, and then boom, man. Like I mean, the longest draft I've done, I think, has taken what, like less than 5 minutes.
yeah, that's it. You can play head to head against somebody. You can play in 3 teams, 6 teams, 10 teams, depending on how many games are that day. It's really very versatile. You can use PayPal to fund it, so it's not like a weird offshore gambling site. It is very easy to use, very user friendly. And I'm telling you, if you are good at fantasy basketball, which I would assume if you're listening to this podcast that you are, you would be good. You'd be good at this. My win rate, I'm telling you, Tyler, my win rate is 75%. That is not a lie. I will take a
Oh,
screenshot and send it to you.
oh man. Well, I thought it was like 100 the way you were bragging it up. I mean, I think I'm doing that good.
Small sample size alert, but yeah, not doing too bad. So if you're good at fantasy basketball, you like winning money, hey, sign up for draft.com. You can download the app or you can go online to draft.com. Use the promo code BOXES.
And
And if
I'll give them another shout out quick. They got NFL, they got NHL. If you want to play those, hey
yeah,
man, our promo code works. Boxes BOXES, man. Put it in.
it works for everything they got. And if you take a screenshot of signing up for draft.com and using the promo code BOXES and you tweet either to Tyler or myself, we will personally play you. We will sign you up and make sure we play draft.com so you can actually take our money. So that's a win-win, really. You get a free game, you get to take our money, and you get to win money from other people on draft.com.
About it. You can just be a rich man.
Yeah, I'm going to be a rich man on draft.com. I'm enjoying uh, gambling on draft.com. It says yes. It's been a pretty good time. So Tyler, we need to correct something that we talked about in the last episode. Because right after we got done recording, Larry Nance Jr. broke his entire life, all his arms, all his legs. It was a horrible accident on the court. Larry Nance Jr., we're praying for you, buddy. He's got a fractured hand, and he will be out until December. On cue, Brooke Lopez, who we've been kind of dogging a little bit, ends up rejuvenated and is playing a little bit more. And I think our take was there's a lot of minutes to go around, and Brooke Lopez isn't getting the 32, 33 minutes he needs to be as good as you drafted him. So Larry Nance Jr. goes out. There's more minutes to go around. Do you think when Larry Nance Jr. comes back, Brooke Lopez reverts back to this, or do you think that was just a minor slump?
Oh, I think he reverts back to it because I mean you still see it, right? They want to play Kuzma and Randall at the end of games. Now I don't know why. I mean, Brick Lopez is their best player. I'm not couching that at all. I don't think Lonzo Ball is their best player. Brook Lopez right now at this moment is their best player.
Yes.
But with that said, they want to play Kuzma, they want to play Nance, they want to play Randall. They don't really want to play Brook Lopez. So, I mean, I think Brook Lopez is going to be awesome for the next month, but when this gets near the end of the month here, I'm looking to trade Brook Lopez just because I mean, I think he's going to drop back to like 25 minutes a night.
I think you got to do it a little sooner, right? Some of the smarter guys out there will already be thinking about this. Larry Nance Jr. coming back. You're taking a risk, right? If you're trading for Brook Lopez right now, or you're trading him away, you're taking a risk that it's going to revert. And I think it's a fairly good risk to take. It's not like Brook Lopez is a top 10 player. He's had 3 really, really good games. And
Yeah, if you said I could sell him for his draft day value today, I'd do it.
yeah, definitely, because I don't think overall for the rest of the season he is going to be producing at his like what was he going, round 4, round 5?
I wanted him in round 5, and he was usually gone.
There you go. So you figured maybe he was going to just smoke everybody and play a ton on the Lakers because he is the best player on that team, but it doesn't look like that's how they like to roll in Lakerland. And I'm gonna give Brook Lopez maybe 2 more weeks and bank on. So if he has like a monster week next week, I'm trying to move him. But if he's playing as well as he's playing now, keep him for another week because you're still going to get 4 to 6 weeks without Larry Nance. So keep him 2 to 3 weeks. And once he has like a stretch where he's like, really, really balling, you can probably trick somebody into taking Brook Lopez off your hands, getting someone of equal or even someone who's valued higher than Brook Lopez back. And that's just a smart trade to make.
Oh, 100%.
Would you, I mean, it always depends on what you need on your team, right? But I'm just gonna throw a few names out there for you, Tyler. Let's play a little who would you trade Brook Lopez for when he's obviously he's gonna be if he's killing it in the next 2 weeks.
All
Would
right,
you
let's do it.
would you want Al Horford back?
Oh, I definitely want out. I'd definitely rather have Horford. Definitely.
I'm a fan of Al Horford. I'm not gonna go only centers, but I'm gonna start with the centers. Would you want hmm, Kevin
I
Love
would
back?
like. I would love some back. Yeah, I'll have Kevin Love.
Okay. LaMarcus Aldridge?
Man, now that's a good question there. I'm
LaMarcus
starting to
has
think
been
about
playing
it.
very well this year.
And he's another guy I'd probably be trying to sell high, right? So I with
Yeah.
Kawhi, when Kawhi comes back, kind of take a back seat to Kawhi probably after he gets up to speed. I think I'd rather have LaMarcus Aldridge, but at the same time, it's not a super guy I'd feel great about buying.
Yeah, I think if that's like all you could get, then take it because LaMarcus, while he's not going to produce like this when Kawhi comes back, you're right about that. He's still going to start. He's still going to be a focal point of that offense. He still does look like he is more motivated to play this year, and that is better than a Brook Lopez playing 24 minutes, 25 minutes a game. It's still much better.
I'm with you there.
Um, one more center, and then maybe I'll do a couple more. Steven Adams
Definitely want Steven Adams. I was hoping you were going to ask me about Steven Adams. We
playing
talked
really
about
well.
talked about him a little bit last time, right? He looks great. I don't see any reason that it really drops off. I'd definitely rather have Steven Adams than Brook Lopez, which is not something I would have said at the beginning of the season.
No, definitely not. And now Steven Adams isn't going to score at the volume that Brook Lopez is, even probably Brook Lopez in 25 minutes. But that's not what you're getting back. That's not why you would want someone like Steven Adams. And you got to make a conscious decision on what you actually need
I don't know.
if you're gonna.
through that first month, Brooke Lopez was averaging 11.7 points a game. So Steven
Yipes.
Adams might outscore him. Like, don't say crazy things, man. It could happen.
All right. Would you rather have Gary Harris?
I'd definitely rather have Gary Harris.
Ooh, big fan of Gary Harris. Would you rather have Tobias Harris?
Definitely rather have Tobias Harris.
I don't know if I'd rather have Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris is a criminally underrated fantasy asset.
He's always good. Every year.
He's a top
Always good.
He's a top 60 player. I don't think Brook Lopez in 25 minutes even sniffs that. Even if you add in the fact, even if I made the trade today and I added in the fact that Brook Lopez was a lot higher value for the next month, I think throughout the season, Tobias runs past him just because Brook's not going to be good.
Yeah, and if you truly think like Brook Lopez is just going to drop down to 24 minutes a game, so because like I think he'll average more than that personally. Like I think he'll have some really good games. He'll have some weeks where he doesn't play a lot, and that's going to be really really frustrating. I hate playing with guys like that. But if you think he's going to play 24 minutes a game and he's going to be, like as good as Paul Gasol is in 24 minutes a game, right? You gotta probably get whatever you can at this point. I'd take Laurie Marketing if that's what I think Brook Lopez is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I could see that. And there's a lot of guys, right? And maybe too, right? Is obviously what you want to do is you want to wait for. I mean, he's had 3 good games, so maybe someone's buying at a good level. You want to just wait till someone will give you somewhere near his draft day value, like any top 60 player, any top 75 player, and just jump at it. I think.
Yeah, I mean, go for the biggest sucker in the league. Go for the guy who doesn't have a center. Play the game, play the trading game, sell high, go after people who panic. It's always good to go after those guys who are at the bottom of the league, and you're like, oh well, they got one really strong guy on their team, but they don't have a well-rounded team, or they don't have a lot of mid-tier players. Package a couple mid-tier players in Brook Lopez for his best player and a couple of his mid-tier players who might be buy low candidates. I mean, that's a monster trade, right? But that's just a smart trade, and they're gonna want to do that, or even get a 2-for-1, 3-for-1. If you can get back someone who's in that top 15, you convince them that they need a better, more well-rounded team.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Don't buy Jeremy Lamb. Just don't do that.
Whoa.
Just don't do that.
Hard out on Jeremy Lamb.
Well, I keep getting all these trades where the person is like people keep asking questions where the person is getting back Jeremy Lamb, and I keep trying to explain to people that Jeremy Lamb is not going to play that much in 2 to 3 weeks when Nick Batum comes back.
No, he is not.
He's
And
not
it
even going
looks
to
like
be
Nick Batum is
standardly,
on schedule.
and he's not even going to be standardly relevant. He's going to play probably at the most like 25 minutes, and I would guess probably closer to 20.
Yeah, quite frankly, I know that Jeremy Lamb is playing very well right now, so that might actually earn him a few more minutes coming off the bench. But he is going to be coming off the bench, and
here's the thing I've been saying to people: the most he's ever gotten is 18, a little over 18 minutes a game. So even if it earns him an extra 5 minutes, that's still only 23. Not many guys are standardly relevant in 23 minutes a night.
no, you're absolutely right. So let's talk about some of these, some of the surprising performances of the last week or so, whether they're good, whether they're bad. And this is something we're trying to do at the beginning of the week to do a little recap of the weekend and really the last week in general, and just kind of pick a handful of really random players that we just happen to catch our eye, are interested in. Perhaps they're on our team and you're really pissed off about them for some reason. Maybe I might be bringing one of those people up. I'm going to start with someone who I've always enjoyed as a fantasy player, and he's always burned me every single time I've ever owned him. But he's playing really well over the last week. He's getting a lot of minutes that I think people didn't expect. Tyreek Evans for the Memphis Grizzlies. Having a real good week.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you consider burning you, right? I don't think Tyreek Evans can burn you this year, can he?
Well, if he no, he can't because I didn't draft him, and he was probably undraftable in most leagues. Or if he got drafted, it was at the very end of a draft.
I picked him a couple times with my last pick, right? He was kind of the best guy available with my last pick. And especially in some deeper like 14 team leagues, I picked him a couple times even before my last pick. Um, he's been great. I don't really see him falling off until he gets hurt.
Now, I think we've talked about this before, right? Who is playing for the Memphis Grizzlies? Like, they just don't have any depth. So someone's got to take those minutes, and it's been Tyreek Evans right now, and he's playing so well. I don't know why they would move away from him. Right now, over the last week, he's been playing out of his mind. Is that sustainable? No, absolutely not. That's of course that's not sustainable. But is he going to get ample playing time? Yes. Is he capable of playing this well, for a week? Yeah, apparently. Those are the types of fantasy players that I want. I don't want the guy who plays like this and then mostly plays like trash. I want the guy who plays good, but occasionally plays really well.
And it's worth saying too, Ben McLemore and Wayne Selden are both coming back. They both kind of play his position, but I don't really see this guy moving off that kind of 6-man role that he's playing right now. He looks great in it. He's kind of that, lead scorer off the bench. I don't really see anybody taking that. I mean, Chandler Parsons looks busted.
It's not going to be Macklemore. I mean, they're going to
Ben
give
Mac
Macklemore a chance, right, to play, but he's not going to be the sixth man.
Well, and he went to the G League, right? So he's getting ready to come back, but he couldn't crack the rotation very much last year in Sacramento, and it wasn't like they had a plethora of outstanding guards.
Whoa, whoa, what do you mean?
Name a guard that they had last year, Mike. Go.
Sheldon Mack.
No, they didn't have Sheldon Mack. It was Garrett Temple, Malachi Richardson. Obviously,
Ugh.
they traded for Buddy Hield.
Well, I know they
Uh,
had Buddy Hield, but that was too easy.
Darren Collison and Ty Lawson were the point guards. Yeah, it was.
What a disaster that team was. They still aren't very good.
Yeah, it was not the prettiest team in the world. Plus, they're giving huge minutes to guys like James Ennis. I mean, does he really need that many minutes, especially when those guys come back? I think he's pretty safe in the role he's in right now. And yeah, okay, it's not going to be as good, but he's going to fill it up off the bench. Probably, what'd you say, like 13, 14 points a game? I think he can average.
Yeah, I think that's it's possible.
And like a steal a game. I think the steals even go up a little bit, probably. So a couple assists, some
Maybe.
rebounds. You know what I mean? He's looking nice. It's looking like a good find late in your draft or on the waiver wire.
Absolutely. All right. Well, what's some of the surprising performances that you've been seeing?
All right. So I got a question for you. I want to know if I can pour one out for Kyle Lowry's being a top 30 player. Can I pour one out,
Whoa,
Mike?
going hard after the Kyle Lowry. I'm not pouring one out. That's too soon. This sample size is too small. 9 games. Kyle Lowry has looked pretty trash. But I mean, he's Kyle Lowry, right? He's. I know he's almost 32, but he shouldn't fall off this suddenly. Last year, he was still doing incredible things. I just don't think you fall off that hard that quick. I I actually like trying to sneak Kyle Lowry on your team if it's possible.
I'll say this too. He gets huge minutes, right? He's gotten huge minutes like each of the last X number of seasons there with Toronto. Usually around 37 a game, right? Like crazy amounts. Um, he's really minutes look down if you look at the season averages because they've been played in 2 blowout games where he didn't play that much. And then he played 12 minutes on Sunday. And
Yeah.
it's against Philly, but the score was a 34-point game, and he played 25 minutes against Denver when they lost by 18.
No, he isn't. It
So
doesn't seem like he's scoring in bunches like he used to. But All right, he played against Utah. Utah, one of the better defensive teams in the league. I don't know if they're the best, but one of the better defensive teams in the leagues. And he was
But
15 and 10 with 4 rebounds and three threes. Like that's not old Kyle Lowry, possibly top 15 Kyle Lowry, but still a really good point guard.
I think though we can agree that last year's field goal percentage is not coming back. Can we not? I mean, he never
I
really.
think that's pretty. I think that's pretty safe to say. And you weren't pouring one out for his career. You're pouring him out for the top 30.
Right.
You might be right about that. Now, I think he's currently ranked 79th in 9 cat.
Sounds right.
So is he, a bottom tier, bottom half of your standard league? No. No. I still think he's probably but maybe a top guard, but maybe he's dropped a whole tier into the bottom of that. Well, I guess we were calling him third or fourth tier point guards there. Maybe he's dropped, around Mike Connolly's value or even below.
Yeah. Okay. You wanna do a little who would you rather here, right?
Ooh, rest of the season?
Yep. Oh,
All
we're
right.
throwing out everything that's happened, right? His 37% is washed off the board. So just from today forward, who you can have either one of these two men. How's that sound?
Okay, that seems fair.
All right. First guy I'm gonna go with is Dennis Schroeder.
Dennis Schroeder. Wow. That's actually a fairly good thing. And that's really sad that like now this is like a discussion. I'm gonna go Kyrie Irving, or not, I'm gonna go Kyrie Irving. I'm gonna go with someone who's
You're gonna
not.
just not even in the
I'm gonna go
game.
with a different point guard. I'm gonna go with
Well, I'll
Kyrie
go with
Irving.
Steph Curry then. We'll just call it a night. I'll just have Steph
That
Curry.
was the correct choice. The correct choice was
You can
Steph.
have anybody.
I'm gonna go Lowry.
I am going to go for Schroeder.
Wow.
And that might be a surprise to people, but
Why
Schroeder's
do you,
look great.
yeah, why do you like Schroeder so much?
I, I just think Schroeder is going to be a volume scorer for them. Now, I don't think his field goal percentage he's shooting so far this year is going to hold up when he's shooting a little bit above his head.
No, that's not.
But could he shoot 43, 44%? I mean, I think that's safe. On 18 shots a game, I don't think Lowry's going to sniff that many. So I think he's going to score more than Kyle Lowry. I think they're both going to get. I mean, the question is, does Kyle Lowry steals go back to kind of an elite level, right? Because Schroeder's probably only going to get you one a game. So there's kind of a big advantage. And Lowry's going to get you more rebounds. But I just really think Schroeder, the points are going to sway it for me. I also think that Lowry isn't going to go back to 22. I think he's going to be somewhere around like 18. And Schroeder's 23 or 22 or 21 are going to be enough to kind of give him the boost ahead.
Yeah, I think you are going to see Kyle Lowry's points take a dip, right? But I think you hit why I like Lowry a little bit more is across the board when you're talking about the extra few rebounds, the steals, the
But
I mean the percentages. I do think he's going to have better percentages, even though Dennis Schroeder does shoot pretty
I
well
think
from
Schroeder's
the
going to have
line,
better
right?
percentages.
I don't.
Schroeder's a great free throw shooter
He's
in
a
the
great
last
free
2
throw
years.
shooter, right? But
Yes.
I think Schroeder's field goal, that kind of workload.
But isn't Lowry's going to be like 42%? Like maybe 43? Like I honestly think Schroeder's is going to be better.
I don't know. That might be a pretty good bet to put up on the
All
board.
right.
Who's going to finish with a better field goal percentage?
Here we go. Last 4 seasons, not including this year. 46.4 for Kyle Lowry, 42.7, 41.2, 42.3. And then if you want to go the year before that, 40.1. I don't
I don't I
understand.
don't want to go the year before that. It's too
I
low.
don't I don't understand why you think he'd shoot better than 43% other
Oh,
than he did last year.
I'm
And,
not saying he's going to shoot 50%. I'm not even going to saying he's shooting 48%. I think if he shoots around 44%, I think that's better than a Schroeder.
but I think that's very generous to say considering he's done that one out of the last, well, forever.
I mean,
Years.
that is fair. That is very fair. Dennis Schroeder also, well, he does seem to get consistently better. and he is younger. And if you want to go with the younger guy, I'm certainly not
But
going to
it's a
I'm not
toss
going
up,
to be
right?
mad about that, right?
And
So that's what's really kind of shocking is that we're having this discussion: Schroeder or Lowry.
right, and that's kind of my point too. Is it's kind of a toss up right now. I would rather have Schroeder. You'd rather have Lowry, but I'm saying too. I think their value is pretty equal, and I did not expect to say that at the beginning of the season.
I didn't expect to say that at the beginning of this segment, so you've
All
definitely
right,
changed my mind about it.
I got one more I want to ask you about,
Okay,
and this is another dude playing out of his mind right now. Victor Oladipo or Kyle Lowry?
Oladipo. Um, man, man, this is real sad for Kyle Lowry, huh? I really like Oladipo this year. I think I think you could say Kyle Lowry because of the assists, but if you don't care about the assists, then it's Oladipo.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think they're going to be close in a lot of categories, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think Miles Turner is going to take some of that workload away from Oladipo, right? I don't think he's going to score 24 points a game, but would I be surprised if he got like 19, which what is like kind of what I'm pegging Kyle Lowry? I mean, a little ahead of Kyle where I'm pegging Kyle Lowry. I think you're right. The assists probably drive it over, but I would probably rather have Oladipo. I just feel a little bit safer about Oladipo.
Oladipo's fun, like you said, and Oladipo's younger. And like we said numerous times when we've been talking, we've been hyping Oladipo all season long, preseason. A couple years ago, he finished in Orlando when he was basically became the primary ball handler. I mean, it was shocking that they traded him because he looked so good. You know, those final couple months, his last season in Orlando, this dude was like a top 20 player. He was out of his mind.
And I think he could do it for a longer period with Indiana, and that's really kind of why I want him over Kyle Lowry. It's just I don't feel
Ceiling.
good about Kyle Lowry right now. I just
It's
don't.
simply the ceiling, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry, I think we've seen Kyle Lowry's ceiling, and we haven't seen Schroeder or Oladipo's ceiling. And man, it's really sad because like this could just be maybe we are pouring one out for Kyle Lowry. That's too bad. I thought Kyle Lowry would be a sneaky good pick, but it's a good thing I didn't really get to draft him in any of my drafts, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and we talked about that a lot, right? In our Who to Draft podcast, that we were kind of just avoiding him at the spot he was going, that we just like some of the big men around there.
Yeah,
And I think that's worked out well for us, and I think it's going to continue to work out well for us.
it certainly has. So good drafting. If you listen to us, way to go, good job. I have a player that I know. I don't know. I don't think you're a big fan of this player.
I
I
have
don't
a
think you like this guy.
player.
And I would implore everyone do not. This is not even a joke. Like it's like sometimes I like to make really clever, fun jokes on the podcast. It's not a joke. Do not Google this man's last name. Do not do it. Evan Fournier for the Orlando Magic is, kind of returned to form from a couple seasons ago where it looked like he could be an interesting breakout candidate. He was only probably 23 at the time, and he had a good enough season to be ranked in the tops, basically in the top 70. This year, he's coming out swinging. What do you think about him Fournier this year?
I don't know that it's what I think. I think it's what other people think. Um, that's kind of what's driving the value.
That's deep. That's pretty deep for this time of the day.
So here's the craziness of Evan Fournier. He's shooting 47.4% from the 3-point line.
Hmm.
And he's a career 38.3% shooter. He's
Hmm.
shooting 50% from the field and 44.8% career shooter. So he's shooting 96% from the foul line, and he's a career just under 80% shooter.
And I know the makeup of this team is he's got better talent around him, right? The makeup of this team is improved. The coaching looks like it's actually trying this year. What happened last year with this Orlando Magic team?
Frank Vogel just decided to take a page out of the Scott Skiles playbook, and then he realized Scott Skiles is a madman. I can't do this.
Yeah, I don't know if he was like it would be easier for them to adjust if I just throw their rotations into crap and don't play consistent at all. Like I'm really happy, especially for Aaron Gordon, that this rotation figured itself out finally. But you're right about Evan Fournier. He's shooting out of his mind right now, and so is Aaron Gordon. Really, when these percentages come back down to earth, right? You're really just looking at a guy who scores and hits threes and gets actually fairly decent rebounds for um, a guard forward, right? That's that's really all you're getting here. You're not getting anything else that's relatively elite.
Oh, I'm with you there.
And like you hope he can keep that scoring up. Once
I
that
think
percentage goes down, is it might drop. He might lose like 5 points.
I don't think it's going to be quite that much. He's shooting career high field goal attempts. Now he's not shooting as many free throw attempts as he's shot in the past. I think he's going to be somewhere around like 17 points a game.
This is 100% a sell high situation, though.
But is it? Like, do people value Evan Fournier even at that 17 points a game level?
I mean, I don't, but there's a lot of suckers out there.
And so I mean, like, I get it. Okay, like some guys are sell high, right? And if I can get what he's at the value he's playing at now, I'm definitely selling high, but I don't think I can. I think that use might just be a hold in the sense that I don't know that anyone's paying the value he's going to produce. He was the 78th overall pick in ESPN leagues.
Wow,
I think
that's too high. That might be a right around value. If the
I
best
say I
case
think that's
scenario,
kind of right.
that's on value.
I think that's probably right around kind of where he lives
I think that's
for the season.
like his best season that well, not his very best, I guess, but like something within the normal probabilities. Like he could do that, and I wouldn't be shocked. But that would be the top part of the his standard outcome.
I could see that.
I'm trying to move him. If I got him on my team right now, I'm trying to move him. Maybe you cannot get Mike Conley or Kyle Lowry because no one thinks he's a top 20 player, and obviously he's not. So like, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know. There's got to be a handful of guys out there that you would be interested in. And now's the time to trade, right? Like everyone's going to start reverting back to their averages very soon. You've already seen it happening in certain situations with players either who got off to a slow start, they're getting better. Some guys who got to astronomical start, they're kind of starting to slow down a little
I
bit.
got a few. I'll ask you, if you want to go ahead and here a little bit at the Evan Fournier
Yeah.
trade.
Let's hear it.
Let's go with the guy you already mentioned, Tobias Harris.
Ooh, I'd much rather have Tobias Harris.
I'm with you there. Malcolm Brogdon.
Ooh, Malcolm Brogdon. That's a guy we really don't ever talk about, and he is just so boring. But
Or is he
man,
sobering? I mean,
is he, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
he just sobers you up, man. Just no matter what,
You
just
know how
makes
I
you
don't
sober.
you know how I don't like to be sober. So that may be why I don't own Malcolm Brogdon in any of my leagues. I think I'm actually going to go with Malcolm Brogdon in this. I really don't like Evan Fournier, but the reason I'm going to go with Malcolm Brogdon is if I'm in a roto league. If I'm a head-to-head league, I can see maybe having a preference for Evan Fournier based on my punt strategy. But Malcolm Brogdon across the board is just like a pretty good player. He's not bad at
I'm
anything.
with you there. How about James Johnson?
Ooh, James Johnson, Evan Fournier, or James? Hmm. Well, the Miami Heat are kind of a mess.
They're a hot mess, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't really know who's night to night. They're messing around with the rotations. James Johnson is the better nine cat fantasy player. Like that's not arguable here. What we're talking about instead then is Evan Fournier starting and hitting some threes and getting
Oh,
some
he's locked
points.
in. He's locked into like 33, 34 minutes a night. I mean,
Yeah, is that better than a variable situation with James Johnson, who is definitely the better nine cat player?
yeah, like, I mean, I think James Johnson's ceiling is probably like 28, 29 minutes. Like, he just don't give him more than that
I'm
for a
taking James.
long period of time, obviously.
If you can promise me 29 minutes a game from James Johnson, I'm taking James Johnson.
Me too. I'm taking James Johnson either way. I think I'll
Ooh,
take the
screw
variability
it.
of that situation
You don't even care.
over him. One more guy playing another really hot man, Mr. Reggie Jackson.
Oh, Reggie Jackson looks healthy this year. We don't talk about Reggie Jackson that often either. We're kind of Reggie Jackson haters.
Not Mr. October either. The point guard for the Pistons, not Mr. October.
I'd take either one. Reggie is still, not playing 30 minutes a game, right? But he's a lot. It just seems like he's healthy this year. It seems like he is a worthwhile NBA player this year, unlike last year, where I mean, there needs to be some sort of you know, expose on what happened to that Detroit team last year. Like what happened with that team? Everyone looked like trash, and now this year, I mean,
Stan Van Gundy just mugged them all and took all their money, I think.
he might have. I've seen some of those pictures of him in that jumpsuit, riding that sweet bike. The Detroit Pistons look like a completely different team. Drummond's playing incredibly well, still hitting his free throws. Tyler, you're gonna owe me on that bet.
I'm with you there. I probably am. He's looking good.
Um, but yeah, I mean that would be shocking if Andre Drummond shoots over 60%. That'd be shocking.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I'm gonna take Reggie Jackson.
you got the injury thing with Jackson, right? And that's the only thing that's probably holding it back for me, but I still think I'd rather have Jackson too.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of close for me, but I'd rather take a point guard overall.
And getting that 6 assists is huge, right? Whereas Fournier is going to get you like somewhere in that 3-4 range.
Yeah, that's just what makes Reggie just a tad bit more um, valuable, I would say.
I'm with you there.
All right, let's do one more. You got anyone special out there that you like? I'm trying to
Um,
think of somebody. Someone that shocked me. Oh, you know what? I would do want to talk about one. Maybe we do a couple more. I want to talk about a hot pickup. We were on this hot pickup. We told people to go pick this guy up. But it's been, a week now. Maybe we should, start doing this. Like, hey, remember all those guys we told you to go pick up? How are they doing? Let's talk about John Collins. An incredibly hot pickup. One of those, oh, imagine if he played 32 minutes a game. Think about the numbers. This guy is averaging this season in a mere 20 minutes, 10 and 8 with over a block and a half a steal in 20 minutes. So we're like, hey, go pick this guy up. But he's not really getting still not getting huge playing time. Still gets into foul trouble pretty easily. Is John Collins still a standard league relevant player?
Dream, obviously, I think he is. I just don't think that they want to give him big minutes yet. And I think the fouls are part of the issue, right? Like, I mean, how many minutes is he really going to play? Even if they said, okay, we're going to max you out. We're going to play you we're going to try to play you 35 a game. He doesn't make it 35 because he fouls out pretty much every night, I think, at the rate he's fouling right now, which is crazy. But is he worth it? I mean, I think he is, especially in the streams, and maybe even worth holding 10 and 8. I just don't know that anyone can hold up 10-8 though in 20 minutes. I mean, even Enos Cantor can't do that.
I'm holding. I'm still holding right now. I'd like to see that field goal percentage go up. I mean, first off, I'd like to see him stay on the damn court, but I'd like to see that field goal percentage be above 50%, and I'd like to see a little occasionally another steal. I'd like to those to go up, but he's got a few games under his belt where he's played 25 some minutes, right? And you're looking at a guy who's like, you know, double double, couple blocks. I mean, that's hard to find. And I'm willing to see if he can figure it out. If he's just in foul trouble for the next like month and a half, 2 months, then maybe he just goes back to the waiver and he's a streaming player for me.
Yeah, and you can look at his game log, right, and see they want to give him somewhere between 24 and 28 minutes a night. The games where he gets less than that, it's 5 fouls, 5 fouls, 6 fouls, 6 fouls.
Yep.
And so he's cutting off his own nose to spite his face. You know what I mean? Like he just can't play it because he's fouling way too much. But that usually gets better as your rookie season goes on, and then next year even more so. So there's hope.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that being in Atlanta, they just don't even care. They're like, yeah, just go out there and foul out. Who cares? We're not trying to win.
I mean, clearly they have 2 wins and they just dropped the other one tonight. So
what are they doing?
I mean, they beat the Cavs.
They're trying to be as bad as the Bulls. Oh, you know what? I gotta correct myself. The Chicago Bulls did not, or actually, no, the Chicago Bulls did. The Chicago Bulls beat the Atlanta Hawks.
Fact.
The Atlanta Hawks beat the Cavs. Therefore, the Bulls are the best team in the East.
Atlanta has 2 wins, Cleveland and Dallas. They've lost to every other team they've played, including Boston on Monday evening.
Oof, brutal. All right, Tyler. Do you have any other surprising performances from this over the last week?
Not really. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, I think the first 3 weeks we're kind of in a period right now where you should be pretty comfortable. You know, we said in the first 2 weeks, do not panic, don't make any stupid moves, don't drop anybody, be an idiot. Now's the time to start evaluating your team. Everyone should be reverting to the mean. You're going to get a better feel for just your league in general. Who are the good teams? Who are the bad teams? What teams need? What do they need to improve on? And that's when you start wheeling and dealing. And we're going to talk more about trades as the year goes on. We talked about trades in this episode as well. And yeah, like now's when we're getting going now, Tyler. This is when the fantasy basketball gets interesting.
This is when things really heat up. It's going to be great. If you got a player you want us to talk about, feel free to tweet us. We're always willing to talk about anybody. So if you got some,
any content. If there's certain topics you want us to talk about, certain teams, certain players, feel free to tweet at us. Tyler, where can people tweet at you?
You can tweet at me at Watsy4444.
And you can find me at Watch the Boxes. And if you like the show, you like the podcast, please rate us, review us on iTunes or wherever you download music or podcasts or whatever you're downloading, whatever inappropriate things you might be downloading. Feel free to rate us and review us there too. We really appreciate it. It does help the podcast a lot. It allows people to find us. Tell a friend, tell the people in your league. Take phones at bars and then give them back after you're done downloading our podcast and giving it a good review and rating. Yeah. And if there's anything you want to hear, any feedback you want to give us, tweet at us. We are definitely available. Or if you got questions about your team, we would love to help. And don't forget that draft.com promo boxes. When you sign up, you get a free draft. Anything else to plug, Tyler?
You can check out my schedule primer for week 4 on hashtagbasketball.com. It's a great way to get a game's advantage in your league. The weekly thing obviously passed already, but I broke it down, all the back-to-backs. You can really get a big leg up this week. It's the first week where the schedule is kind of really spread out. There's 2 really heavy game days and then 5 pretty light game days, so that's really going to help out. So check it out.
Yeah, maximize your streams, and that article's out every Sunday, right, Tyler?
That is factually correct.
Everybody go out to hashtagbasketball.com, find Tyler's streaming article. That will help you. It is a quality article. So go check that out. And you can check out the hashtag Bulls podcast that will be coming to you soon that I will be doing. And I think that's it for tonight, Tyler. It's not too bad.
It was a good one as always, Mike.
As always, well, we'll see all of you next time. Thanks for joining.